Welcome back. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi attended the family house iftar in Cairo on Saturday. After the iftar, President al-Sisi addressed attendants, stressing that the gathering was a show of Egyptian culture and identity, which country has been trying to preserve and maintain. More details in the following report by Nile TV's Linda Abdulatif.
شكرا جزيلا.
In a lively family-like atmosphere, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi witnessed the breakfast ceremony of the Egyptian family. During the ceremony, President al-Sisi greeted the attendees and all Egyptians on the occasion of the holy month of Ramadan, stressing his keenness on organizing the Egyptian family breakfast every Ramadan to maintain the concept of the Egyptian family, which holds a lot of noble meanings. President al-Sisi also stressed the necessity to take advantage of those blessed days in order to strengthen our identity. During the ceremony, the president also referred to the accomplishments that have been achieved in the past 2 years, emphasizing that those achievements have been implemented with the contribution of the Egyptians, adding that there are other projects that are currently under implementation. President al-Sisi also spoke about the achievements that have been reached concerning regaining security and combating terrorism. The ceremony was attended by Prime Minister Engineer Sharif Ismail, as well as a number of ministers, members of parliament, members of the presidency specialized councils, besides the families of the martyrs of the armed forces and the police, public figures, as well as representatives of different governorates representing all sectors of the society. The president always surprises us, and I'm very happy to attend this breakfast with him and see all those people invited. I'm very proud of our president, our armed forces, our police, and our nation.
It's my pleasure to be one of the invited to this breakfast and to be invited here and to be seated in the main table beside the president. So it's a pleasure for me, and hopefully it's gonna keep doing a good results. I'm looking forward to make this continue and make always Egypt proud of us.
And in his final note, the president reassured Egyptians on the future of the country, stressing the importance of solidarity to achieve comprehensive development and economic advancement. Linda Abdulatif, Nile TV International.
Well, in 2 years since President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi assumed office, the Egyptian foreign diplomacy has been playing a great role in transferring the image of Egypt, drawing up the shape of its foreign policy, and was a real cornerstone in Egypt's developmental plans. Nile TV's Mona Musalhi conducted this interview with the spokesman of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Councillor Ahmed Abu Zaid.
A step or stage was regaining the African Union Security and Peace and Security Council seat, and of course gaining the UN Security Council non-permanent seat. And we really want to know Egypt's efforts, or the Egyptian diplomacy's efforts in this regard.
As you mentioned, of course, when a country like Egypt, of Egypt's weight and experience and historical heritage, joined the Security Council, there are always expectations associated with this membership. Expectations by the African countries whom we represent, and the Arab countries as well, as we are representing the only Arab country in the Security Council. This, as you mentioned, of course, puts a burden on the Egyptian diplomacy to do that. This requires a lot of consultations between the Egyptian Foreign Ministry and the other countries in Africa and in the Arab world, in order to follow up and be aware of all the issues that are being discussed in the Security Council, and to represent in the best way possible the positions of the African states, the African nations, and also the decisions and resolutions taken by the African Union and the Arab League. At the same time, there are certain files that Egypt considers as of priority, special priority. You will find Egypt focused on those files within its membership in the Security Council, among which is, of course, the Middle East peace process, the Palestinian cause, counterterrorism, the situation in Libya as a border country. On those files, you will find Egypt is in the forefront of leading the work of the Security Council in order to take certain positions. For example, on counterterrorism, we were keen to apply for the membership or the presidency of the counterterrorism committee of the Security Council, and we managed to get this chairmanship, through which we are keen to present Egypt's view. You know, Egypt has a specific view with regard to counterterrorism. We see that it's an overall comprehensive approach that says that counterterrorism should deal with the root causes of terrorism, with the narrative and how to counter the narrative of those terrorist groups, and how to also to detect the financing of terrorist groups. It's a comprehensive approach, and I think we are trying vigorously to try to apply this vision and to convince the other members of the Council of applying this vision. During the Egyptian presidency of the Security Council in the month of May, we called for a special session of the Security Council on the ministerial level, which was the first time in history for the Security Council to deal with the ideology and the narrative of the groups, of the terrorist groups. And this session led to a certain task, or asked the Secretary General of the United Nations to put forward a comprehensive strategy to deal with the counter narrative, with the narrative and the ideology of the terrorist groups, and to put forward an action plan on how to implement this strategy. That I would consider this as a big and important achievement. Also on the Palestinian cause, during our presidency to the Council, a special session was held also to discuss the issue of protection, how to provide protection to the Palestinian people in the Palestinian occupied territories. And also that was an important achievement, and it reflected the real challenges and hardship the Palestinians are facing on a daily basis.
Several Egyptian parliamentarians have welcomed the government's announcement that the controversial protest law would soon be amended. More details in the following report.
That the controversial protest law will soon be amended. Minister of Parliamentary Affairs Magdi Lagheti announced that a government committee will soon meet to amend the protest law to go in line with the 24 Constitution. Lagheti said that the committee in charge of amending the law would include government legal advisors. He added that it will study the articles imposing penalties on violators of the law in order to make it easier to organize peaceful protests. Lagheti noted that the committee can also seek the advice of independent legal experts and human rights organizations, and it will review protest laws issued in different countries. The law, which mandates prison terms of up to 3 years in jail as well as fines for those who protest without a government permit, was passed in November 2013 during the turbulent period that followed the ouster of Mohamed Morsi. Critics say that the law infringes on the constitutional right of citizens to hold peaceful protests, including street demonstrations. The Parliament will study all drafts submitted, whether by the government or by MPs. An official discussion by the Parliament on the protest law would mark the first time the legislature, which convened in January 2016, reviews the law since it was first passed in 2013. The law was not among 340 legislations passed by the executive in the absence of a legislature revised by the current parliament as mandated by 2014 Constitution, since it was issued before the charter was approved by the electorate.
Minister of Trade and Industry Tariq Qabil held talks with the Portuguese ambassador in Cairo on means of increasing joint trade and investment projects between the two countries in the coming stage. Details in the following report.
Industry Tariq Qabil held talks with the Portuguese ambassador in Cairo on means to increase joint trade and investment projects between both countries during the coming stage. The meeting tackled preparations for a visit of the Portuguese foreign minister to Cairo next week, which aims at boosting and supporting economic and political ties between Egypt and Portugal and exchanging points of view on the situation in the region. According to a statement by the Trade Ministry, Egypt and Portugal seek to increase rates of commercial exchange to reflect the distinguished political ties binding both countries. It added that the talks also took up preparations for the meeting of the Egyptian-Portuguese Trade Committee in Cairo during the second half of 2016. Meanwhile, the Portuguese ambassador asserted that the visit of the Portuguese foreign minister to Cairo comes within the framework of Portugal's keenness of boosting ties with Egypt.
While the Central Bank of Egypt issued the regulations of implementing the initiative of finance medium enterprises operating in the sectors of industry and agriculture. More details in the following report.
Central Bank of Egypt issued the regulations for implementing the initiative to finance medium enterprises operating in the sectors of agriculture and industry. The most important of these controls is the necessity of banks confirming that credit facilities granted to companies are angled towards the purposes identified in the credit approval. The CBE said that the financing contracts signed with the clients must include a statement pledging to use the fund for the purpose it was granted for and not use it for deposits or any other form of savings. The CBE launched an initiative to finance machinery, equipment and production lines for the benefit of medium-sized companies operating in industry and agriculture. On the 22nd of February, it allocated 5 billion Egyptian pounds for the initiative with a declining interest of 7% and a maximum period of 10 years. The CBE regulations stipulated the banks must provide systems to monitor the implementation of the initiative and follow up with customers. Each bank will conduct the necessary credit studies per their own policies, obtain necessary credit approvals, fulfill all conditions, guarantees and documents, and ensure that applicants are not receiving funds from other banks within the initiative. According to the CBE, an electronic system will be introduced to tighten monitoring on companies and guarantee that each enterprise can benefit from the initiative one time with a maximum of 20 million Egyptian pounds obtained through one bank.
Minister of Culture Helmi Namnam held the annual award ceremony at the Supreme Council of Culture to vote and announce the winners in the fields of art, social sciences and literature. A number of researchers, scientists, poets and writers had attended the meeting. More details in the following report by Nile TV's Dina Huwaidaq.
Held the annual meeting to announce the winners of the prizes which are granted in the fields of social science, arts and literature and are distributed across 4 divisions: the Encouragement Award and the Excellency Award and the Appreciation Award and the Nile Award, which is the highest honor. The Nile Award amounts for 4,000 Egyptian pounds for the Egyptian scientists in the field of arts, literature, and social sciences for the year 2015, and the Appreciation Award for the year 2016, which are 10 prizes distributed at the following: 3 awards in arts and 3 awards in literature and 4 awards in social sciences. The meeting was attended by a number of scientists, writers, researchers, poets, as well as journalists. Within the framework of Ministry of Culture to promote and maintain the Egyptian culture, this annual meeting to declare the winners for Egypt's prizes took place at the Supreme Council of Culture to enhance creativity. Dina Huwaidaq, Nile TV International.
Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program Inside Egypt, during which we've brought you the latest political, economic, and also social events that are taking place in Egypt. I hope you've enjoyed being with me. Wait for me next Sunday. Until then, it's goodbye.